Hey everybody, it's Coach Emmett coming to you from beautiful Georgetown, Texas here at Benold Middle School. Hoping you're having a fantastic day. Loving the fact that we're getting this flipped classroom stuff going again, and hopefully we can stay with it. Y'all help me out and request these videos, and I'll keep them rolling. Going to put them on YouTube today, so hopefully you found it. Subscribe to my channel, and that way it'll, I don't know, whatever. Let's get Coach Hammock paid for these videos. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I do it out of the love for you guys. All right. So anyway, we're in 5-2, solving inequalities by multiplication and division. All right. So it's very similar to what we did when we solved equations, just like the adding and subtracting we did in class today. So we're solving them by using division, using multiplication. I'm not even going to go through those slides that talk about, the multiplication property and division property. I'm just going to go right into it. So I want to solve this by multiplying. So remember, if we were dealing with just an equation, 1/2 n equals 6, we would solve that by multiplying both sides by 2, and we would go n equals 12. Well, that's virtually the same thing that we're going to do on this one. So instead of multiplying, or instead of the equal sign, we have the greater than or equal to. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. Just like we normally would. The 2 crosses out the 1/2, and that's left with 1. We have n is greater than or equal to 12. All right. Now, if we were going to graph this again, and we did this a lot in class, right here we have our 12. We have a filled in dot. Why is it filled in? Because of the or equal to right there. Variable is on the left, so you can see it's kind of pointed to the right. So it's going to be right there, and there we go. I've graphed the answer to that. N is greater than or equal to 12. If you wanted to check this, I would check 0. Always check a 0. 0 is pretty easy. Is 0 greater than or equal to 6? No, it's not. So that is not a solution, and it cannot be a part of the answer set. So it's got to be pointed the other way. All right, number 4. This is where the lesson for today takes kind of a left turn. All right. Anytime we multiply or divide by a negative, anytime we multiply or divide by a negative, you're going to flip the sign. All right. You're going to flip the sign. And what that means is right here. We have negative 3 over 5d is greater than or equal to 6. All right, I'm just going to rewrite it. Negative 3 over 5d is greater than or equal to 6. To solve this, I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 5/3. Okay, multiply this side by negative 5/3. When I multiply, what I mean by flip the sign is you look right here. This is a greater than. I'm going to turn it into a less than or equal sign. Okay, 5's cancel, 3's cancel, negative signs cancel. We're left with D. D equals negative 30 over 3. Okay, so we're left with D is less than or equal to negative 30 over 3. And so when I reduce this down, D is less than or equal to negative 10 right there. And that's going to be my answer. Okay, so by multiplying or dividing by a negative, you're going to flip the signs. Remember that, remember that, remember that. Okay, moving on. So check your progress right here. Go ahead. I'm going to let you solve this one. Ready, set, go. Okay, so after you've got it worked out, this is what I came up with. I multiplied both sides by negative 3. When I multiplied by negative 3, the sign is going to flip. It's going to go from a greater than to a less than. So x is less than negative 30. Looks like C is going to be our answer right there. And remember, you can check this answer in there to make sure. So again, I always choose 0. 0 should not give me an answer because 0 is not less than negative 30. So as I put that in here, if I put 0 in, is 0 greater than 10? No, it's not. So on these questions, you are not allowed to miss one because you can check your work. All right, I want you checking your work to make sure that you get the correct answer. All right? Okay. So now, the same is going to be true for dividing an inequality. Okay, so just like before, if it was just 12k equals 60, we would divide by both sides by 12 and it would work out fine. Okay, so now all we're going to do is divide by 12. Now we're dividing by a positive 12, so the sign stays the same. K is greater than or equal to 5. Okay, and again, just to make sure we're good on this graphing stuff, we have one variable, so we're going to put that number line down. All right, we have a 5 right there. Okay, and so we have it greater than or equal to, so I'm going to have my filled in circle right there at 5. And because the variable's on the left, remember I taught y'all it's kind of pointed that way, and we're going to go right there, and we have our arrow. All right, so that would be our solution right there. Okay. All right, so now we're going into dividing again, but this time we're dividing by the -8. All right, so remember our rule. If we divide by a negative, we're going to flip the sign. All right, it's going to go from a less than, and then it's going to become a positive. I'm sorry, a greater than. All right, so we have our Q is greater than this time. Negative, because a positive divided by a negative is a negative. 1, let's see, that's 5, 56, 7. All right, so Q is greater than -17. All right, now let's go over how to graph this one more time. We've got our magic number line. You're putting the number right there. Hey, that's exactly where 17 is, -17 is. Okay, we do not have or equal to, so remember that's going to be open circle right there, open circle. Now, you can either pick a point on either side, or because the variable's on the left, you know that it's going to go with the arrow, and it's going to go right there. Okay? Check your work every time. You do not have permission to miss one. All right? So check one that should be an answer this time. If I'm choosing 0 right here because it's the easiest number. Go back to your original equation and put that in. All right, -8 times 0 would be 0. Is 0 less than 136? It is, so that should be in the answer set, and the arrow shows that it is one of the solutions to this problem. Okay, all right, so I'm going to let you figure this one out. You've got 3 seconds to pause the video and then to circle your answer. Ready, set, go. Okay, so after you divide by 15, like you normally would if it was a regular equation, all right, I have P is less than 4. So looking through here, right here. All right, guys, I will tell you, some of y'all are going to be careless and you're going to see something like this, P and 4, and you're not going to pay attention to the sign. You have to look at the sign to figure out that that is not your answer. Okay, all right, last example. Go ahead and work this out and pause the video. Okay, so here we go. We're going to divide by a -4 and divide by a -4. Rule of the day, if you don't learn anything else from this, when you multiply or divide by a negative, make sure that sign is pointed the other direction. Z is going to be less than -16. There you go. All right. Looking through, making sure, and again, it's going to be the sign that's going to mix you up right there. Answer is going to be B. All right. All right, guys. Well, that's it. Make sure you get your whisk done. Remember, I want you to summarize that. I want you to bring in any questions you've got, and hopefully that's it. We will definitely not have a quiz over this tomorrow. We'll just do some book work and some practice problems in the class. Bring any questions you've got, though. All right. We'll talk to you later. See you tomorrow.